Alright, so NIO is one of the more popular up-and-coming EV companies worldwide, especially in China. The company developed very nicely in the last couple of years, especially in terms of production growth. But in this video, I'm going to talk more specifically about its swap technology, its battery swap technology. I'm going to talk about its developments in autonomous driving. And finally, I'll talk about why sales are jumping in the last couple of months for NIO. So I'll discuss those three topics in this video. Let's get started with the battery swap stations.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so the NIO chairman and CEO in a conference call told investors that in the near term, they'll start to install their fourth generation power swap stations. And these stations will be compatible with both on their new brand Onvo and new products. Depending on the market and the demand, we will also see and decide how many fourth generation stations we need to deploy for our new onboard products that all fourth generations can have. So they're going to start with this fourth generation power swap technology. And based on how customers respond to it, they can expand or slow down the growth of these stations. Now, the battery swap technology is a big differentiator for NIO. Most of these EV companies do not have this technology. Their charging is extremely slow and inconvenient, especially for those that do not own their own homes and cannot install charging stations at home where they can charge their electric vehicle while they sleep. And so that's made most electric vehicles inaccessible or inconvenient. They cost more money and they are incredibly more inconvenient. For most folks, right? For 9 out of 10 folks in the world, it's more inconvenient. For the relatively few folks that can have the charging at home, then that makes sense for some of those individuals. But most of the world, it's inconvenient. So the battery swap technology can be a big reason why people that are on the fence or hesitant to get an electric vehicle, they see this technology and they say, okay, this might make sense for us. And so this has been a big booster for sales for NIO, and it'll be interesting to watch how this fourth generation power swap technology will help further boost NIO's competitive advantage in this area. All right, so some of you may be unaware, but NIO was one of the first to receive autonomous drive and testing and licensing permit in China. And the chairman and founder said that also, among all of the startups, we are one of the earliest to receive the first batch of permit issued by the government. So there's been a lot of hype around Tesla and its development of driverless car technology, while most investors have neglected all of these other companies like NIO that are also developing this technology that might also be ahead of Tesla in terms of developing this technology. But Tesla's CEO Elon Musk is a much better marketer, a much better salesperson, and so he's been able to get the word out about his company and his company's developments in artificial intelligence and driverless car technology, with maybe not being anywhere near the leadership position in that industry. So investors that are interested in this driverless car technology should not overlook NIO. NIO's developing relatively quickly. And I've been saying from the start that I think the government in China is going to be more responsive to this technology. The governments in the US have been slower to adapt this technology. They are on the roads in certain cities, in Phoenix, in San Francisco, in Las Vegas. You can see driverless cars on the roads today. By the way, none of those are from Tesla. But they're not as widespread as in China, where you'll find them in more places conducting more driverless rides. So this is an interesting area and one that NIO has been on the leadership position in as one of the earliest startups to receive permits issued by the government. And lastly, I'll talk about the jump in sales. In April and in May, they witnessed an increase in their sales volume. And the CEO saying that is because we have just completed our model year facelift in the first quarter of this year. So they updated the models, and with the car industry, newer models is primarily what leads to growth in sales. People buy new cars not because they need them. Most often people buy new cars because they like the way it looks or they like some new technology, and they go ahead and upgrade their car after just 3 years of ownership, or maybe 2 years or 4 years, whatever the case might be. People upgrade their cars and trade in their cars faster than they need to be replaced. Cars can last people over 10 years, but rarely do people keep their cars for over 10 years. Most often, people upgrade and trade in, and this is what NIO is seeing as they launched new models, that it increased the number of sales they experienced. Also, they adjusted their monthly subscription fee by optimizing their operations and working with their battery suppliers for longer battery warranty, which can prolong the lifetime of the battery and lower the monthly fee for our users. So one of its technologies, one of its competitive advantages is the battery swap technology, and NIO even offers customers a chance to rent the battery instead of own, and that lowers the cost of ownership for most folks. The battery is one of the huge inconveniences in electric vehicle ownership. Not only is it expensive, but it's also takes a long time to charge. And if you compare it with, let's say, if you're having an internal combustion engine vehicle, you go to the gas station in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you can fill up a full tank of gas that'll last you 500, 600, 700 miles, versus your electric vehicle. If you want to charge, sometimes it can take you upwards of an hour to charge your electric vehicle, depending on if you have the fast charging or what level charging station you have access to. And so that inconvenience is being helped by NIO here with the battery swap technology. It's much faster to get in and get out and get back on the road. So NIO saying that the adjustments, the take rate of the battery as a service has raised to more than 80%. So more than 80% of their buyers are choosing the battery as a service. In other words, renting the battery instead of owning the battery. And if I was in the market for an electric vehicle, I might consider that option as well, as a battery as a service instead of owning the battery. It seems like a convenient option, of course, depending on the price and comparison and all of that. But that seems like something that's helping NIO generate sales if more than 80% of consumers are choosing that. Also, in the second half of last year, they realized that they didn't have enough salespeople, and so they built their sales capacity and capabilities. That's now helping to boost sales, as if you have more salespeople, and if these salespeople are on a commission basis, of course it's going to boost sales. Commission salesmen are interested in making sales because they're not going to get paid unless they make the sales. And so that's a good way for car companies to hire salesmen, is put them on a commission basis and make them only get paid if they make sales, and put a small minimum salary along with the commission. And that really motivates salespeople. That's been how the car industry has been. Of course, customers do not like that. Salesmen are pushy, and the negotiating process is not something that car buyers enjoy, but it's good for car sellers. It's good for companies, not for customers. And finally, the company said that it's not just about the adjustments on the prices, not to mention they haven't announced any price reductions on their product. They're offering some promotions like battery as a service promotions and some trading incentives for people trading in internal combustion engines, but no price reductions on NIO vehicles. So NIO going out of their way to say that their sales are not increasing because they're cutting prices. Their sales are increasing because of those other factors, not because they're cutting prices. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.